Welcome to the Human Potential Podcast, where we dive deep into real conversations with successful movement, health, and healing pros. In this show, our focus is on the business and personal finance side of things, career paths, family and community, and the mental aspect of serving others as a movement, health, and healing pro. Every professional and entrepreneur that we interview is passionate about healing, helping, and serving this world in a way that ultimately aims at optimizing the human potential. We can't wait to go deep and share their stories with you. So now getting to the last question of the podcast. I promise you've been a great guest and I really appreciate the time. So this one really does get into that concept of life planning. And so I'm really passionate about that. And so the goal of life planning is really to help clients really understand what's important to them. So when it comes to our own selves setting goals, sometimes it's really hard to just put into words what we really want, even though maybe we can say a few things, but what is really important to you at the end of the day, maybe sometimes the first thing is something material, but really strip down to what the person really wants. It could be something much deeper or more meaningful that allows them to move forward into their goals with, acting on certain things. So you're probably familiar with these three questions from George Kinder. I'm not going to ask you all three. I'm only going to ask you the last one, but essentially each of them gets progressively deeper. The first question is really just asking you, if you have unlimited resources, what are you going to do with that? How would you spend your life? What would you do? And then the second one gets a little bit deeper. Doctor says you have 5 to 10 years left to live, but you only have the resources that you have today. What would you do? How would you spend your time? The last question really gets down to the heart of what matters to you and makes you think really about what's important. So the last question is this, and here's what I want you to answer is this question. Your doctor tells you have 1 day left to live, 24 hours left to live. What would you think about or what would you feel in that moment? And some of the other questions that you can just go off of is, what would you regret? What would you feel like you missed out on? So this question is not really, what would you do? How would you spend your time? But it's kind of getting a little bit deeper into how would you feel and what things you would miss if you literally were told you had 24 hours left to live. What comes to mind?
Oh man. I'd say thankfully I definitely have my regrets, which would run through my kind of memory tape. I'd say there'd be a lot of future regrets or future things that I would be so bummed to miss out on, of just seeing my kids grow up and see the type of people that they become. Right now, they're just 2-year-old rascals running around. But every night that I tuck them into bed and, as I look at them as they're, asleep and just wondering to myself, who's Braden going to be like? Who's Riley going to be like? And what are they going to do? And just kind of shaking my head. So I would totally miss that. That would be heartbreak. And I guess if I had to, choose things that I wish I would have done differently, thankfully, I felt like that there was some things that I've always wanted to do and at least tried them in my life, at least from what I can recall of having goals, walking on. That was something that I felt like I would have regretted for the rest of my life if I did try it. Also starting a business was something, if I didn't do it, I would have regretted that. So I guess I could go along the same lines of, proposing to Meg. If I didn't do that, that would be, one of life's biggest regrets, if not the biggest. So I feel like I at least checked the boxes on those and obviously at least the football one, wasn't surpassing any dream, but at least I tried. And the business one, who knows what that will be. I think overarching, things that I would be dang it, I kind of screwed up are the ones where I knew what the right thing to do was and I didn't follow through with it, or I had my own convictions and didn't go through with them. For example, we had a coach during my last couple of years. He was a specific position coach who's pretty denigrating to players and myself and that sort of thing. And I wish that I would have stood up for myself and, cause he was the type of person, if you pushed back on him, then he would have backed off. But I was kind of at that time a yes, sir, I'm the walk on, like I'll do whatever, like, that sort of thing. And what that really led to was just kind of me, and not just me, but other players kind of being taken advantage of. Um, so I think I knew like what I wanted to do, but I was afraid of not being the type of person that, does what the coach wants and that sort of thing. So I guess as I, yeah, like look back, it would be like, ooh, like those are the ones that I missed. I wish I wasn't so concerned about having my identity in something versus uh, doing what I knew was the right thing to do at the time. So that was just one example of things I think that I messed up that would be that I would take to my grave. But super good questions.
Yeah, make you think a little
Yeah,
bit. And yeah, I think when we were younger, those things looking back, we definitely grow and mature and kind of see them a little differently. And I think what you said about being a yes sir, walk on player, I think we've all been there, and just comes with maturity and understanding, where you can kind of say things or not.
yeah,
And yeah, that's growth for sure. And then what you said about your kiddos, I mean, that's spot on with this question, and I appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable there. Yeah, it would be heartbreaking to miss out on seeing them grow up and be the kids that they're going to be, the grown-ups that they're going to be. So yeah, I definitely resonate with that answer in a lot of
yeah,
ways.
yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, show some love by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We want to share these conversations with more movement, health, and healing pros. By rating and reviewing our podcast, you will help us do just that. We appreciate you. See you next time. And don't forget, we all have so much human potential within us. Don't waste it. Let's all make something happen and take action today.